All right, welcome back. In this video, we are going to do a final Easter card for the season and make a shaker card. And I'm going to use a variety of things to do this. So I am going to first use this sequins. I found this at Hobby Lobby a couple years ago and did a really cute shaker card with it. I'll try to link that so you can get another idea for a shaker card. I think it was also Easter time. It just screams Easter to me. So I'm going to use that. I'm also going to use this cute little stamp, and I'm going to use, this is brand new, and Concord and Ninth sent this over to me to create with. I'm going to use this Easter blessings and create something really, really pretty with that. So what I want to do first is I'm going to zoom out here. Whoops, wrong way, Bethany. I'm going to zoom out here for just a moment because I want to get an idea for how much space I have for my stamp. I'm going to do something a little different today. So let me, okay, pull that out. I have my cardstock here. I'm going to trim it down just a little bit. This is an A2 size cardstock at 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. I'm going to trim that down to 4 by 5 1/4. 5 1/4. Okay. And now what I want to do is I'm going to do the Easter blessings. So I'm going to take the shadow because this is what I'm going to use to create my window. And my idea here is I want the bunny to kind of be poking out from behind. Maybe even like, I want this to be centered, but no, that's going to be too much. Maybe even like that. I think something like that. Okay, just like a little peekaboo. Now, that's where I want that. Bring in my Misty and I'm gonna stamp that down right there. Okay, so I'm gonna cling that to the door exactly where I want it. I'm gonna use an alcohol-friendly ink because I do want to color this with Copics. I think I'm gonna make a little brown bunny. I think that would be really cute. There we go. And there we go. Okay, let that dry. And okay, so the idea here is that we're going to, oh, sorry, bunny, we're going to trim you off a little bit. So it's going to look like this bunny's just kind of peeking behind the greeting. Then we're going to cut this out, and this is what our shaker window is going to be. So we're just going to have fun here. I wanted to bring in a variety of fun things and have fun. Also, it would be cute if we added the carrot kind of dimensionally. We could do that. Let me get a tiny scrap piece. Will this fit? I'm going to use this from another project that you're going to see next week. Wait for it. It's so cute. I know it looks crazy right now, but I'm going to use this just as my scrap piece. Okay, so let's stamp that out as well. Let's go like so. Stamp this little guy as well. And this one we will use the coordinating die to cut out. That'll be our little boost of dimension on this card. As teeny tiny as it is. Okay, so ignore the craziness of that, but we're going to use that. All right, now I think what I'll do before anything else is I think I'll color. Yeah, I think I'll color before I even cut this out. So for my colors, I am going to use a color combination of, this is going to be so simple, E31, E30, and then for the ears, I'm going to use R21 and R30, and I'll use that for the cheeks as well. Oh, I'm going to do the carrot. So I'm going to use the YR02 and YR00, and how much room do I have? I can use 2 for the little greenery piece too. All right, let's zoom in and get to coloring. I think I have enough time. Hopefully this doesn't smudge. And you can do a gray bunny if you'd like to as well. Either would be super cute. Okay, so I'm going to do E30 as my all over color. It's going to have a nice light colored, kind of almost tan Easter bunny. Kind of wanted to bring in a lot of my favorite things to this card, which is coloring, but a shaker element as well. Sometimes it's nice just to grab a variety of things from your stash and just have fun. Now, I don't remember where exactly we're going to cut off here, so I know we're not going to do the bottom of the bunny, so I'll probably just stop. Well, knowing me, let's just do the whole thing. I know we don't need feet, but let's just get this colored. Okay, now I'm going to do E31. Oops, that didn't help being off camera there. E31, and I will do down the side of the face here. Actually, what I'll do is kind of both sides so we can just pull the color in. And then the same here. Okay, and then I'll work on those ears in a second. I might do something just to bring some dimension to those, but I'm just going to pull color in from both sides so we have kind of a nice light highlight in the middle of the face. Same with these little arm areas. Okay, super simple coloring. Nothing complicated, just keeping it very simple. Okay, and with my darker though, I might just kind of add something to the base of the ears. Okay, and blend that out. Okay, that looks good. And again, I'm going to do something like that. Okay, I'm gonna let that sit for a minute because I want to make sure it's nice and dry before I add my pink. And I do that because when there is surrounding ink that's wet, if you go right in with another color, it can pull that wet ink into the second color, and I want my colors to remain true to themselves. So I'm just going to give it the grace of time. It doesn't take long, and I'll just move on to the next one. So YR00 for my little carrot here. That's the all over color, and then I'll do YR02 to bring in some of that more traditional orange. I'm not going to do much here though. Bring that light color back in to blend it out. And then same here. Not doing too much. That was, sorry, G20. I'll list all the markers down below. And I'm just going to dab a little bit of this YG61 in there so that we have a little bit of variation. All right, I'm going to do now R30. And we'll do all over color inside of this ear. And while I have it, we will do cheeks on the bunny. And then I'm gonna again focus on the base of the ear for the color. And I might not even blend that out, actually. I might let that stay just like so. Okay, I like how that looks, really pretty. I might bring in my E30 just to blend just a little bit more. This bunny. There. Okay, like that. All right. Now we are ready to cut. So because this is going to be my final panel, what I'm going to do, I have a little bit of ink on there, so I'm going to see if I can just kind of get that off. A little bit. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'll attach this in place, but I'm going to use tape on the inside of my die because my tape sometimes tends to rip and I don't want it to rip the card base or panel. Okay, I think that looks pretty good to my eye. I don't want to cut off too much of that bunny, so I'm going to do that. Add it to the inside. And then this little guy, we need to find that die, which is here, okay? And because I'm not going to use the surrounding area, then I definitely can just tape the outside. Okay, let me turn this around. Try to get that as centered as I can. And there we go. Okay, let's cut these out. All right, so because, again, this is my final panel here, I don't want the marks from my cutting plate to make an impression on my paper, and it absolutely will if I just place this right on top. So I'm just grabbing some fresh cardstock to place on top as a barrier. That way the top cardstock takes the impression of the plates, and then my actual card panel is nice and smooth. Okay, so there is our opening. Okay, I'm gonna set this to the side real quick. I should have just run those through at the same time. Actually, I just set that to the side, so I'll just grab my mini real quick. I prefer using the mini, it's just so much smaller. Okay, and then, ooh, did not get perfect placement on that, but it's going to still be so cute. Okay, so we'll set that to the side for a little while. Oh, okay, so now we're ready for our Easter blessings. I think what I'm gonna do is, let's take it out because we're gonna need it, but let me assemble the shaker first before we decide what we want to do with color. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be a white sentiment, but let's get this all ready. Oh, I just had a little scrap sitting from another project, and while it's not quite big enough square on, if I tilt it, it will be, and that is all that matters. So using liquid glue, I'm just gonna go around my opening. Oops, come here. Let's see. There we go. I'm gonna go around my opening, just like that. And then, oh, I probably got too much glue, but that's okay. I'm just making sure that that entire cut is covered by the window, or my acetate in this case. Then I have my shaker. Very cute. So I'm gonna have this color behind, so pretty. And I think what I will end up doing is, I think this color would be super pretty underneath. So let me grab a big piece so I can make my card base. And this is Sea Glass by Concord and Ninth. I'll link it down below. I think last time that I did the shaker card with, oh, I'll have to see if I have it still. I don't know if I gave that card out, but I think I used this exact color combo, and I'm not doing that intentionally this time. I just, you know, a girl likes what a girl likes. Okay, so I'm going to split this in the middle to 5.5. And I'm just simply making my card base. So let's bring this score buddy in. I'm going to, so now we have 8.5 by 5.5, and then half of 8.5 is 4.25. I'm gonna do a, whoops, I got that a little bit off. That's okay, we'll be fine. I'm going to do a landscape card this time. Okay, now what we'll do is let's open this up, put a magnet down. Oh, that's going to be so pretty. Love, love. And you can even trim down your sides if you want to add more of that color to peek through. Okay, so what I need to do now is grab foam tape and build up this back part. And the biggest thing you want to focus on is making sure that you create a little fence so that your shaker bits, in this case the cute little flowers and leaves, they don't fall out. So I'm going to go close to my little sentiment here because I want my shaker pieces to stay close and not fall to the bottom of the card. I got something on my card here. I don't know what I was doing. To maybe make sure I don't have ink on my hands. So I'll bring that up there. Okay. Making sure I am closing every little spot so that my pieces don't fall out. And then I'll just reinforce the top so it doesn't sag by adding a piece up here. All right, so cute. So because I need to center it this way, what I'm going to do is I'll just add my shaker fill to my card base first. So let's add this down here. Ooh, might be too much. I want it to be able to shake around. And you'll see that little pop of green behind there too. Doesn't this just scream spring and Easter? Okay, I'm gonna make sure it stays in this area. Ooh, that's gonna be so cute. Okay, I'm gonna take just a tad more out. Just a little bit. Ooh, and I have enough for next year. I'll have to see if I have that card. Okay, so now I'm going to remove my liners, just like this. It's ever so sticky. Okay, and then I'm going to make sure this is all there. Position it the best I can and lay it down. Okay, now, ooh, I still got it a little full, but oh, it should shake, come on. Okay, there it goes. Once they kind of all get loose from being kind of on top of each other. Okay, so that's what it's looking like so far. Now, what I wanna do is grab my little mini here, and I'm gonna grab a thick 110-pound cardstock. That way I don't have to do as many layers. I'll just make it easier. And I will cut this out 2 times and then layer them together. Okay, here's our first little layer. Let's not forget our little dot to the eye. Leave that way up there. And you definitely don't have to layer if you don't want to. I just like to have just a tiny bit of dimension with a layered sentiment. I think it looks so pretty. Okay, and I'm gonna sneak this carrot over here because I don't want to forget that. That'll be a fun little boost as well. Okay, tweezers. Actually, I'm gonna use that as my bottom for reading. Let me go ahead and add my glue to the back and layer the sentiments. All right, with glue on the back, I'm just gonna line it up as close as I can. And then I can take advantage of the liquid glue to give me a little wiggle room to pinch it into position. But hey, that was not too bad. Okay, so that'll be our blessings. Oh my gosh, that's so cute. Okay, I've been sitting with this Easter blessings die for a couple weeks now, just trying to decide what exactly I wanted to do. And I knew I wanted to do something really different with it this time. So I've been sitting on this idea for a couple nights at this point, and I'm glad that it came to life and it's coming together how I was hoping it would. Sometimes it's just a gamble. Do you ever have ideas where it's the opposite, where you are just thinking it was going to be amazing and it just ends up being less than amazing, or just not as cool as you thought? That's always a bummer too. Been there. Been there. Okay, there we go. All right, now I'm gonna position these in there, and I do still have the dots to the eyes, but I'm gonna add those directly to the acetate. That will be so much easier. Now with shaker cards, I tend to not add any additional embellishments after. That's why I'm kind of excited about the carrot, because it's kind of acting as a little surprise embellishment at the end, but I always kind of opt out of any additional sequins at the end because I don't want to overdo it. I kind of want to keep that look with the shaker inside. Okay, there's Easter. Okay, and blessings. There we go. And you can set something on top to kind of help it set. I mean, anything even as simple as your little die cutting plate too. Okay, now for these little guys, I'm gonna make sure they're flipped in the right direction, which they are. Add glue there and just pop these right on there. Okay. Layer those up. And there we go. Okay, those will take a little bit to dry. Now I have my smaller little foam squares here, so I will still need to, I think, trim that down in half for this carrot. Okay, we'll add it right to the back of this tiny little die cut. Oh yeah, that'll be cute. Use my tweezers and decide where I want that to go. Oh, I don't want to cover the little face, so maybe like that. And I don't mind if it interacts with that bee. Oh, love that. I'm gonna break my own rule and just do a couple little dewdrops because I want to. So I'm gonna do a little duo here, and I'm also breaking oh, you know what I could do? No, I'm gonna do this. 1, 2, 1, 2. I guess it is still kind of breaking the rule of odd numbers, but I tend to break that quite often. And I'm gonna do a fun little duo around the card. I think that'll be really cute. Ooh, I'm liking this choice. I don't think it's distracting at all from the shaker element, but it's just adding just a tad bit more, which I think is fun. Okay, so there is my little trio of 2. I think that's cute. And there we are. So there is our little shaker card. I love how that turned out. So simple, so easy. We are at a total of 33 minutes from start to finish. So pretty quick card, I think, in my book at least. I tend to have done longer cards in the past, so that's not too bad, especially for something as exciting as that. So I hope you enjoyed this. I'll place a source list below of everything I used to bring this card together. And as always, if you click on the title of the video, that's where you're going to see the entire list of items. Okay, I'll see you all in the next one. Happy Easter.